Good morning, fourth graders. Today's reading is a news article with 4 persuasive letters to the editor. As we're reading today, be thinking about why the text is structured this way. After we read, we're going to summarize some of the key details in the article and the letters together to make sure that we understand the text. All right, we are going to read the article and listen to these letters. It's going to take us a little bit of time, so follow along as I read. Old Oak Park, Build on It or Save It by Cynthia Swan. The controversy. Mayor supports new mall. Says Old Oak should be cut down. Mayor Tom O'Shea today announced his support for the sale of Old Oak Park. Jack Abbott, a developer, wants to buy the Oakdale land. He plans to build a shopping mall. The mall would include a major department store, movie theaters, and restaurants. It would also include a grocery store, bank, and many shops. The mall parking lot would hold up to 300 cars. O'Shea told reporters he supports the mall for 2 reasons. The mall will bring new jobs to our town, he says, and the money from the sale will help us pay for town improvements. At the top of O'Shea's list of improvements is a new middle school. City Councilman Albert Adams supports the mayor's position. We really need to do this, Adams says. The mall will revitalize our town. The new middle school will improve our public education system, and the tax revenue from the mall will help us pay for a hospital, too. Our community needs a hospital. Not everyone agrees with Mayor O'Shea and Councilman Adams. Many Oakdale residents think that Old Oak Park is too important to lose. In the middle of the park stands the oldest tree in the state, Old Oak. According to town records, Old Oak may be over 300 years old. The tree was there before the town was built. City Councilwoman Maria Gomez wants the tree to stay right where it is. Old Oak is the heart and soul of our town. It would be a tragedy to remove it. I plan to vote against the sale of the park, and I urge every resident to protest the mayor's position. Linda Moore, who lives near the park, agrees with Councilman Gomez. My children love the playground by the 300-year-old tree. Where are they supposed to play? In the mall parking lot? Runner Jeff Messina said that he and other runners use the dirt track around the park and don't want to see it paved over. Other residents look forward to the jobs the new mall would create. I've been out of work for a year now, says Lisa O'Brien. I need a job to take care of my sick mother and my children. Many residents who need work hope the mall is built quickly. Everett Longbottom expressed little concern for Old Oak. It's already 300 years old. It's probably going to die soon anyway. We need a mall more than a dying tree. But his wife, Marilyn, disagreed. Oaks can live 800 years. I don't want anyone to harm that dear tree. I love it. Oakdale's mayor and city council will vote on the sale of Old Oak Park next week. All right, so we just went through and we read the news article. So why do you think that this reading selection began with a news article before it presents its persuasive letters? I'm going to let you think about that for just a moment. Well, the news article is providing a lot of background information for the letters. We know that if they do bring this shopping mall to their town, they're going to bring new jobs, and the money from the sale is also going to help them pay for town improvements. They're going to be building a middle school. But then there's people that don't support the persuasive views, and they feel that Old Oak is the heart and the soul of the town, and they plan to vote against the sale of the park. So you were able to see a few different points of view. All right, so we are going to read a couple of letters to the editor. These would be letters that they were able to send in. We are going to see some words, pro and con. Remember, pro means you're for it, and con means you're against it. When we're doing these letters to the editor, please be looking for how does each letter begin. And then what does this tell you about the audience for the letters? Dear editor, Mayor O'Shea has the right idea. Our town needs the new mall. Without it, we're dead. No town can survive without jobs, and a project this big promises many new jobs. Construction workers, carpenters, electricians, and plumbers will be needed. And the good news doesn't end there. Once the mall is built, stores will need clerks, restaurants will need cooks and waiters. The mall will need parking attendants, security guards, maintenance workers, and more. Let's face facts. Our town has been in trouble for a decade. Look at the for sale signs on every street. People can't afford to live here anymore. There are no good jobs. Our young people go off to college and they never come back. The future of our town is at stake. Forget about the old tree in the park. Let's close the sale and start breaking ground. Give me a shovel. I'll help. Lawrence Freeman. Now we have The Tree Can Go. To the editor. As the parent of a 7th grader, let me assure you this town needs a new middle school more than it needs Old Oak. If selling the land gets us a new school, I'm all for it. George Washington Middle School is 70 years old, and frankly, it should be condemned. The walls are crumbling. Plaster falls from the gymnasium ceiling like hail. Most classroom windows don't open. On hot days, our children swelter in the stagnant air. How can they focus on the causes of the Civil War or solve algebraic equations when they're covered in sweat and trying not to faint? But wait, the story gets worse. 2 of the 4 children's bathrooms have been out of commission for 6 months. According to the Board of Education, no funds are available to pay for the repairs. Last month, my daughter opened her locker and found a mouse crawling on her backpack. She was traumatized by this experience. She has not used her locker since. Mice have been spotted in classrooms, too, during lessons. The building is infested. George Washington Middle School is a disaster, and our children deserve better. Sell the land and build a middle school where our children can concentrate and feel safe. Vivian Spencer, irate Oakdale mother. Would you say that these 2 letters are pros or cons? Remember, pro means for, con means against. These 2 letters are definitely pros. As I was reading through those letters, maybe you were feeling the same way, but for sure I was thinking, wow, if they build the mall, they'll offer many jobs to the town, and it sounds like that middle school really needs to be updated. So those 2 letters made me feel, the reader, like I wanted to change my mind about the news article and build this mall. Now let's take a look at these last letters. We have 2 letters left. Do you think these letters are going to be pros or cons? It looks like they're cons, which means they're against. Dear editor, I can't believe this mayor would sell our park out from under us. Maybe he doesn't use Oak Park, but plenty of Oakdale residents do. He should visit the picnic area some weekend and see families flying kites. He should interview the children who enjoy the rock climbing wall at the playground. He should count how many runners he's going to disappoint when he takes away their path around the beautiful oak stands. He needs to speak to the bird watchers who spend their weekends looking up into the branches of Old Oak. What is he going to say to them? Sorry, the birds can find a new home? And let the mayor meet all the park maintenance and security workers he will have to lay off. Let him speak to the sidewalk vendors who need the park to make a living. Is he going to promise all of them jobs at the mall? Somehow I don't think that's part of his plan. What is a town, anyway? A town is people, not buildings. A town is people who work and play together and look out for each other. This mayor isn't looking out for the people. If he has his way, he'll destroy our community and make it one big commercial strip mall. Justin Cooper. Let's look at our last con letter. The tree must stay. Dear editor, if Mayor O'Shea lets Old Oak be cut down, then he is a murderer. Old Oak should never be destroyed. It is an ancient tree that has lived for over 300 years, and it can live for centuries to come if we take care of it. In Louisiana, there is an old oak tree called the Seven Sisters Oak. It was named by the landowner, Carol Henry Doby, who was one of the Seven Sisters. Experts say that this is over 1,500 years old. It even survived the winds of the terrible Katrina hurricane in 2005. And that is not the only old oak in the world. An old oak tree called Angel Oak in South Carolina is more than 1,500 years old too. We should give Old Oak a chance to be 1,500 years old. Do we really want to be responsible for killing such an extraordinary living, breathing part of our community? Shame on us if we do. Veronica Mendel. So think about those 2 letters now. Those were the cons. They were against them. So today we read a more complex text, which means a lot harder text. That included both a news article, that's where we started, way back up here. Oh, excuse me, trying to find where we left off. There we go, here's our news article. And then we read some letters that were pros, for, and then we read some letters that were cons, against. The question I have for you is, are you feeling more pro or more con, based on the evidence that the authors have presented to us and what we know about persuasive letters. Your writing assignment for reading today will be attached.